First of all, I think people should not invest their life savings in cryptocurrency.
Okay.
To be clear, I think that's unwise. But I mean, if you want to sort of, just speculate and kind of like, I don't know, maybe have some fun. I mean, there's a good chance that crypto is the future currency of Earth.
Right.
And then it's like, well, which one's it going to be? And maybe it'll be multiple. But it should be considered speculation at this point. And so, don't go too far on the crypto speculation part. The point is that Dogecoin was invented as a joke, as essentially to make fun of cryptocurrency, and that's why I think there's like an argument like fate loves irony. Like the most entertaining outcome is what would be the most ironic outcome? That the currency that was invented as a joke, in fact, becomes the real currency.
Right. Wow. No, absolutely. So, to the moon.
To the moon.
Dogecoin, and I really want to know more about this. So talk about Dogecoin.
It's crazy, the craziest story ever. So Dogecoin is a cryptocurrency that was created as a joke in 2013 by these two programmers, right? And they just made it just to mess around. And then probably 2 years ago, people started talking about the meme online, okay, and started buying it. And probably within the last 6 months, the number of people buying it has just skyrocketed into the millions, and the value has gone up incredibly. And I'll give you an example. My son and I bought some for less than a penny. Jake, who's 11 years old, bought $30 worth, I think it was, and for less than a penny. Then it went up to 6 cents. He bought a little bit more. Then it went up to 40 cents, and now it's about 26 cents. So the question everybody wants to know is Dogecoin a good investment? And here's the reason I got Jake into it. It's not necessarily the best investment you can make, but you can buy it on Robinhood, and signing up and trading on Robinhood is free. So that's one thing. The second thing is it's about 26 cents per Dogecoin. So if you go and spend $5, $10, $15, that's a better bet, better investment than buying a lottery ticket. And you know what? It could go up. And the second part about it is if it doesn't go up and you want to spend it, you can buy merchandise on the Maverick store, hopefully soon on the Ellen shop. So it's also becoming a digital currency, which is crazy if you think back to its origins. But as overall, when someone brings up Dogecoin to you and asks you if it's a good investment, I wouldn't say it's the world's best investment, but it's a whole lot better than a lottery ticket, and it's a great way to learn and start understanding cryptocurrencies.
And it seems like it's just going to keep going up and up. I mean, there's no guarantee, but one quick thing before we go. So Robinhood, if you go on Robinhood to buy Dogecoin, they want your social security number. I'm always skeptical about things like that.
I'm less concerned about that because there's something called Know Your Customer. They have to make sure you're not a money launderer or a fraudster, and so they have to confirm your identity. So they're pretty good at keeping it secure. So I did it. I didn't have a problem putting in my information.
One native cryptocurrency when it comes to the internet. He thinks it's Bitcoin.
It's interesting. I have some friends of mine that are really involved in crypto. I mean, I think like the Bitcoin structure was quite brilliant. Yeah, it seems like there's some merit to Ethereum as well, and maybe some of the others. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it would be a good use of Tesla resources to get involved in crypto. I mean, we're really just trying to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. And I mean, I think actually one of the downsides of crypto is that computationally, it's like quite energy intensive. So like there had to be some kind of constraint on the creation of crypto. So, but it's very energy intensive to create like the incremental Bitcoin at this point.
Yeah, but by the same time, there were $1.3 trillion worth of transactions in Bitcoin, and we don't see it here because it's not for pizza or Coke. It's business to business in Africa. Yeah, but we think it is business to business in Africa, where it is prohibitively expensive to convert from one nation's currency to another. You have to go through the dollar. I mean, it really is very important it's money over IP for them. It's free transmission of money. And that's really important to opening up the world. And,
Yeah, it bypasses currency controls.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. It's
well, and
paper money is going away.
Yes.
And crypto is a far better way to transfer value than pieces of paper. That's for sure.
Without a doubt.
That has its pros and cons.
Just to clarify, Tesla's not going to start selling Bitcoin
No,
anytime
we're
soon.
not.
Okay, you heard it here
No.
first, even though everyone thought that.
No. My opinion of Bitcoin is that, I think Bitcoin is probably a good thing, but it's essentially, its main thing will be, this will probably get quoted here and there, but I think it's primarily going to be a means of doing illegal transactions. But that's not necessarily entirely bad. It's not, some things shouldn't be illegal. But
The combination of Silk Road and Bitcoin will save us?
well, it will be useful for legal and illegal transactions. Otherwise, it would have no value as a use for a legal transaction, because you have to have a legal to illegal bridge.
Software hasn't eaten the banking industry yet. Software's eaten a lot of industries. There's some that it just hasn't. Banking's still there.
Stripe's eating them slowly, but they're doing a pretty good job. The banks are in trouble if it's not Stripe, it's be somebody else.
And you love code, but you don't seem to be as bullish on Bitcoin. Do you have any? Could you break down like why? Because you're talking about this big database that's more secure for faster transactions. It seems like Bitcoin's hitting at least some of those.
I'm neither here nor there on Bitcoin. Yeah.
What did you think when you read like Satoshi's whitelist for the first time? You're like, oh, it's pretty interesting. Or
That was pretty clever. It's just like the things. Yeah. this always gets like the crypto people angry, but there are transactions that are not within the bounds of the law, and there are obviously many laws in different countries, and normally cash is used for these transactions. But in order for illegal transactions to occur, the cash must also be used for legal transactions. You need an illegal to legal bridge. That's where crypto comes in.
So is it kind of the dark net stuff?
It can't be entirely dark, because otherwise, how do you buy normal stuff?
Sure.
And cash these days is used just much rarer. It's hard. It's like increasingly difficult to use cash. Some places you can't use cash at all.
True.
So there's a forcing function for transactions that are illegal, quasi-legal, and in some cases legal. But it's got to have some. It's got to be both legal and illegal. It doesn't count otherwise. Otherwise, you simply it can't just be transactions within an illegal economy. Because how do you buy food in a house or something? You must have a legal to illegal bridge. So what I see crypto as is effectively as a replacement for cash, but not as a replacement for as a primary. I do not see crypto being the primary database. So now this is something I've taken being like I'm being judgmental about crypto, and it's actually I think there's a lot of things that are illegal that shouldn't be illegal. But so it's not as though I think that sometimes governments just have too many laws about that we shouldn't have so many things that are illegal.